the big preoccupation there was not, are we running out of fossil fuels? The Russians are worried that there's too goddamn much of it on the market right now. And
So what happened in 2014? Trudeau got in power and he actually helped Russia with too much goddamn oil. That's what happened. And natural gas. Isn't that perfect? So Freeland's plan of helping Russia worked exactly. Let's have a listen to this whole talk here in 2014 with Chrystia Freeland. They also go through that the carbon tax is just fake and it's just used to balance the budget. Where have I heard that before? And it's just a tax grab. And that fossil fuels are needed, a must, by at least 2050. And green energy will nowhere near come close to anything that helps us. Let's have a look at this video that has resurfaced of Chrystia Freeland on the A News Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's have a look.
I wonder whether we're actually at sort of a pivot point where fossil fuels are coming back, huge natural gas discoveries in the United States. We're seeing now oil sands, we're seeing the Brazilian discoveries, and we're seeing it reflected in the price. I was at the end of last week at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Shell representatives were there in force. And the big preoccupation there was not, are we running out of fossil fuels? The Russians are worried that there's too goddamn much of it on the market right now, and the prices are too low, and they were bitching about the excellence of the US companies that are finding a lot of it. Gazprom, the mighty Russian gas producer, is now saying, Jesus Christ, the Americans have a lot of gas now. So I would like you, Russ, to comment on this and talk about what impact that's going to have on the politics. Because, if we find that our fossil fuels are a lot cheaper, and this economic pressure that we had really been worrying about, certainly up to 2008, that pressure is gone. Aren't we going to forget about these issues for a while?
I'm personally a guy that I don't like sound bites as a rule, but I do believe in the all of the above strategy, because I don't think renewables can get to a major portion of the supply of world demand by 2050 and completely displace fossil fuels.
Okay, so Alexis is wrong. We're not going to be off fossil fuels in 2050.
I think it's going to be a challenge. I think you're going to have. I think it would have to have a growth that is unprecedented in any other energy development that we have ever seen. You take wood, coal, petroleum products of any kind. The growth rate that you have to have would be unprecedented. I think you have to continue to try, but I think we also have to be very realistic and recognize that coal and natural gas, no matter where that natural gas is produced, from Russia to supply Europe or within our own borders, which has been a real economic change for this country, it's going to have to be produced to meet the energy demand of the population in 2050. We need efficiency, we need more supply, and if we continue on the rates that we've gotten both, we have an unsustainable gap that we will not be able to fill. So we're going to need the efficiency end, and we're going to need more resources, and it can't just be alternative.
My name is Jamie Cox, and full disclosure, I work for Shell, and I am an evil big oil lobbyist. So I guess my question here is, how can we, having been on the government side, are there things that we're not doing that we should be doing?
Okay, excellent. Let's start with that one. Richard, how can Shell lobbyists educate government officials better?
I think that there are places that are maybe emerging where there's, politically feasible areas where progress could be made. Unclear if that'll happen at this point. So a big thing on everybody's mind is the fiscal situation, balancing the budget.
In this economic climate, how committed to a balanced budget would you be right now? Would it worry you to go into deficit in this current climate to, as you say, put more people to work?
The commitment needs to be a commitment to grow the economy, and the budget will balance itself.
Right. So whereas the notion of a carbon tax was, the T word, tax, is just like, the third rail of U.S. politics. But that's emerging, but not because of carbon per se, but because the government needs to balance the budget. But not because of carbon per se, but because the government needs to balance the budget, right? And if you can do that in a way that actually makes the overall tax system more efficient, which you could potentially do, there's maybe an opportunity.
Isn't it all a big game? We have Freeland, who has very close ties to Russia and Ukraine has been corrupt forever, for 50 or 100 years, very corrupt country. And here we have Chrystia Freeland and Trudeau doing exactly what Russia wanted, to have less fossil fuels in the world on 2014, and Trudeau did it. He delivered. Makes you wonder, too, with the interference how it's all tied together, that really it's just a pawn. And really the climate tax is just a tax to scare people. Sure, it's hot in June. There might be some forest fires. It's all natural. You look at the chart, it's actually less forest fires, less acreage than when it was first recorded. In 1985, it's been down. That's when they started recording it. But no, you can't look at that. You have to put the fear in everyone. And when Stephen Guilbeault talks about it, it's like he is doing an infomercial for his comrades to help him. That's what it seems to me, that they want it to happen so that Stephen can get more money, and he pushes the agenda even further because, you know, Stephen Guilbeault, I know he climbed the CN Tower, and that really took a lot of skill to do it. I'll give him that much. But it looks like he's the same type of guy that would just throw tomato paste on the Mona Lisa and do something silly now. And that's really what he does. He's just in a billionaire position to spend money, and he's just a big baby and just keeps pushing up more taxes. Anyway, thanks for liking the A News Network. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.